All right, guys, so welcome to this week's Cooking with Mrs. Richardson. As you can see, we're back in my kitchen. I do have a couple of new helpers. Girls, come on in here. I have Lydia. She is Sammy's best friend. She's over here because her mom's a nurse. So while her mom is helping other people stay safe, she's with us. And then you guys all remember Sammy, my faithful assistant who helps me with everything. This week we're making my favorite food and something I think that most of you enjoy, pizza. But we're not just making any pizza. We're going to make homemade dough ourselves. So this is going to be a long process to make. Altogether, it's going to take about 2 hours to do this style of dough because you have to let the dough sit and have to have science happen so that your dough rises. Okay, so we are going to get started on this. I'll be taking lots of different videos of this so you can see step by step. I will also post some other instructions for quicker ways to make this, but this one's kind of fun because it takes longer and the dough rises more. So first thing we need to do is we need to take warm water, our ingredients, and see what all we need. So ingredients that we need. We need a 1 1/3 cup of warm water. So I had Sammy fill this up from our sink, run the water for a little bit and get it warm, not hot, but warm. I worked at Little Caesars for a long time, and I know that you don't want your water to be too hot or your pizza dough isn't going to turn out right. So, okay, secrets of people who used to work at Little Caesars. You also need a package of yeast. Mine is the Fast Rise yeast from Meijer. You can get any kind. I usually get Red Star, but this is what I had on hand. And it comes in a 3-pack. So this is just one of the 3. That's all you need. You also need sugar. We just need a little bit of sugar today. We need olive oil. Vegetable oil will work too. Either one is fine. I'm going to use olive oil because it gives it a little bit more of a good olive-y flavor that I like. You need salt. And finally, flour. I think I need to get some new containers that say cool words like flour and sugar and tears of students. Yeah, I want a tears of students container. Or tears of my children container. Wahahaha. Okay, first thing we're going to do, we're going to take our warm water. Oh, Sammy, I need you to, and Lydia to help me. So I need the scissors. Okay. I need one girl to pour the water carefully into this bowl, please. Okay. Thank you, Lydia. We're going to pour all 1 1/3 cup of warm water into the bowl. Then the next thing we're going to do is with scissors, safely, we are going to cut open the package of yeast and we are going to pour it into there. Okay, can you hold this while I cut it? Will you do it over the bowl in case any falls out? So yeast is this super tiny particles. I'll see if I can put some on my hand so you can see it. So when you do it, watch how it pours. It's super, super skinny. Can you see that pouring? I'm hoping you can. Hold my hand here so you can see it. It's just like a grain of sand. So when you're watching it pour into your bowl, you'll see these super tiny, fine little particles. And I like to just flick my package and get all the yeast out.
Or like,
yep. Or tip, tip, tip. So we need our water, our yeast, and our granulated sugar. So Lydia is going to do this one. We only need 1 tablespoon. And we're using Sammy's measuring stuff again. For hers, the tablespoon is green. It says 1 TBSP. It's the biggest spoon in her set. Okay? I'm going to dip it into the sugar bag. And we did use mine last week, so this week we're going to use yours. My mistake. Thanks, Sammy. All right, and then Lydia, because it's her turn, we take turns when both girls help me, is going to pour it into the container. All right, so next it says we need to put the yeast, water, and flour mix onto my stand mixer, and we need to mix it together.
I'll lock it.
Yep, we're going to hit the lock. I'm going to turn the mixer on really low. I'm just going to mix it in for just a second. I have on my paddle mixer, so my flat one, because it helps to rotate it better. I wouldn't use my whisk because it's kind of fluffy. You could, but you don't need to. or I could have used my dough hook for this. So we're just gonna mix it. I'm gonna turn it up a little bit. Get it mixed. All right. Yep. So after you let it mix and get it good and incorporated in, your water should look like a light tan color, maybe a light brown, very, very light brown. You're going to cover it with something and just let it sit for 5 minutes. So what I'm going to do is not turn my mixer back on. I'm going to take my paddle off, set it here, and I'm going to get... I don't know where our press and seal is. So I'm just going to use some plastic wrap. And I'm going to cover my mixing bowl.
Why'd you drop these?
I don't know. I'm going to cover my mixing bowl.
And let it sit for a couple hours.
And this I'm just going to let sit for 5 minutes. The reason we have to let this sit for 5 minutes is because yeast and the water and the sugar will mix together to form a chemical. And when it's done mixing together and setting, that's when we're going to be able to make the pizza dough. So right now it looks like this light brown water, but when we come back to see it, I'm going to take some pictures and put them in here too. I'm going to try to get a close-up. It'll be a little bit bubbly and frothy. Okay, I will see you guys in about 5 minutes. I'm going to set my timer. All right, guys. We are back. Our timer just went off saying it's been 5 minutes, and with our dough covered, I'm going to take it off and show you. Yep, it's got to smell because that's what yeast is. It's got this like foamy, I don't want to push it too much because I don't want to get on my computer. Hang on, done with it. Foamy type look to the dough. I will take some pictures, and I will post pictures of this in our Google Classroom. And for those of you who are following us on our YouTube channel, I will post pictures for thumbnails and try to post some more pictures. I'm going to take a picture of the frothiness so everybody can see it. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to put it back on my mixer. All right, now we're going to do the next part. So we need to work with our olive oil or vegetable oil, whichever kind you prefer. I like the taste of olive oil,
Me too.
so that's what we're going to use. Do I not have an open olive oil?
You might.
I might. I don't
Is
know.
this?
Nope, that's vegetable oil.
It's worth the
No, I usually use it, but I guess I don't have an open olive oil. So, new olive oil. Yay!
I can reach that.
Good job, baby.
See?
All right, so we need 2 tablespoons of olive oil. Girls, I need 2 tablespoons. One of you hold this over here, please. I'm going to pour it in.
Me first, because you did last.
Okay, pour your 1 tablespoon of olive oil. Next girl, hold the green tablespoon.
Oh, I wish you were God's.
Right.
So it's actually fair.
Okay, pour that in. Thank you, ladies. All right, now we need to do the... Where did I put it there? We need to do the salt, and for this recipe, it's calling for 3/4 of a teaspoon of salt. So, ladies, there is not a 3/4 teaspoon. So you have to use 2 teaspoons. For ours, it's kind of nice because it's color-coded. So we're going to take 1/2 teaspoon, and a teaspoon is going to say TSP on it, and we're going to take a 1/4, which will say, so 1/2 means 1-2 TSP, and then 1/4, which is 1-4 TSP. See how they're different sizes? One's a little bit bigger, yellow's a little bigger than red. So we're going to do 1 of each of these of salt. Hi, ladies, can I have some elbow space? Thank you. Thank you.
She's already
Hold. Hold. Thank you. When you have 2 helpers and you need 2 of something, they each get 1.
Yep, we take turns. Every time we cook,
Wait.
we take turns.
I was going to have you dump it at the same time. All right,
3,
next.
2,
Just dump it in, would ya? Huh? All right, so we've added the oil and the salt. Now we're going to add the last of the ingredients, which is the... we are going to add the last of the ingredients, which is the all-purpose flour. I need 3.5 cups, and for this measuring cup we're using of Sammy's, this one is the 1/2 cup. This one goes up to 2, so it's kind of a bigger size. So I'm actually going to grab.
My 1 cup.
Where's your 1 cup?
That is my 1 cup.
This one's your 1 cup?
Yeah.
The bluest?
Yeah.
No, this is 1.5.
1.5.
That's okay. We can use this one. I don't know where yours is. So I guess we're gonna use this one. This one, her blue one, goes 1.5, which means for 3, I need 2 of these and 1 of these. Okay. So I'm gonna put it in my flour. Remember the secret we learned with ice cream sundaes? We need to level. And I don't have Samantha's spoon with me, but I have my own. So I'm gonna just level this off here. Make sure it's nice and level. All right. 1, pour it in. Hold it tight because I need that pull back. There we go. There's 1.5 cups. Do it again because I need 3 cups. So I've got 1.5 so far. It's not quite enough. I'm going to use the other little one. Fill it up. My second 1.5. 1.5 plus 1.5 equals 3.
Now we're going to use our little one.
And now we're going to use the little one for the half.
I get to put it in this time.
I get to put it in this time.
Wow.
There's 3. We needed 3, and there's 3 of us. All right. So I'm going to put that in. Collect all my supplies. Get things out of the way of my mixer. All right. So now I'm going to put...
Put it.
I'm going to use my dough hook. I'm going to put my dough hook on.
What do you say?
Ladies.
What do you say?
They're arguing over politeness for putting away scissors. So I put my dough hook on. I'm going to put my dough hook down, turn my mixer onto low, and I'm going to beat it for about 2 minutes till it's nice and mixed in. Okay? And since it's only 2 minutes, we can talk a little bit. Remember what I told you last time with ice cream sundaes, or if you're new and haven't joined in, sometimes it's nice to work on picking up your area while things are mixing so you don't have a huge mess, which is what I'm going to do right now while that's mixing. You girls watch the mixer. All right. Make sure it's getting nice and mixed in, please. Thank you. How's it going? Is it getting mixed in?
Yeah.
Cool. I'm going to take some more pictures so you guys can see what it looks like when it's mixing with the dough hook. Let's see if I can get you guys a close-up. Here we go. Ready? So that is what the dough hook will do. It's going to kind of connect in, and it's taking up all the liquid and powdered dough that we had in there, and it's hooking it together and connecting it. It's really neat. And eventually, it's going to form a ball. The nice thing about using the dough hook is I don't have to knead it as much. Kneading is what we're going to talk about next, okay? So that's about 2 minutes. It looks nice and mixed in. When I lift this, watch out please, ladies. It's going to kind of come up a little bit on my dough hook.
And like start pulling off.
And then I'll start pulling off. I'm going to pull the camera a little bit closer, or my computer, because that's what I'm recording on. My camera is currently not with me. Oh, I put the flour away and I needed it. That's all right. I'll get it back out. I'm going to dig my hands in my bowl, because they're clean. And I'm going to pull my dough out and check it out. So I've got this blob of dough, but it's not quite ready yet. I've got to do the fun part, which is kneading. So I'm going to stop this for a second so I can go set up on my kneading area. I'll see you guys in just a minute. Okay, so I moved over to my dining room table because what we're going to do now, and I'm going to move this so you guys can see a little better, is we're going to do what's called kneading the dough. So I'm going to take a little bit, and this is the girls' favorite part because they get to beat up on the dough. Take a little bit of flour, put it on a clean surface. You can put it on wax paper. We clean off the kitchen table and make sure it's all good and cleaned and scrubbed and no food on it. And I like to do it on my kitchen table because it's a nice surface to do. Then I'm going to take my dough out of the bowl and set the bowl aside because I'm going to put it back in. And I'm going to show you what to do, and then the girls each get to take their turn. So the dough's kind of soft right now and kind of bleh. You want your dough to be a little harder. You want to be able to punch your dough and leave a little mark in it, but the mark to pop right back out. So we're going to take our dough, and we're going to press it, and we're going to fold it. Press, fold it in half. Then we're going to fold it in half the other way. Then we're going to fold it in half again. And every time you fold it, you press it. And fold and press. And the girls are each going to take a turn, folding and pressing. And after a while, your dough's going to get a little bit harder to fold and press. And that's how you know it's done. Like I just stuck my fingers in here.
And that's nice.
And there's marks, but it's not quite how
you need
I want it yet. So girls, go ahead and knead the dough for me. One at a time, fold and press. Remember, keep it in the ball, get it tight. Fold, there you go. Press quickly. Fold and press. See how I do that? One hand. All right, you try, Lid. Fold and press. There you go. Fold and press. They like this because over the summer, they get to do lots of cooking with me.
Yeah.
And learn lots of different stuff. And I'm going to add a little more flour to the table.
And also onto the dough.
And on the dough, because you don't want your workstation to get too clean.
She's trying to beat it up.
Right. All right, thank you.
You punch it. You punch it.
Hang on.
Aww.
The longer the dough sits out, ladies, the harder it is to work with. So I'm going to move kind of fast.
Move the table.
All right, you can punch it real quick. Oh, All right. Stop. Oh my goodness, you leave two 9-year-olds in charge of the dough and it goes crazy. All right, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put a little more flour. I'm going to knead here for a second. They're going to go clean up. Goodbye, ladies. Thank you. That's all I need you for. Okay, so I'm going to take the dough and take my bowl, and I'm going to put a little bit of my oil that I had earlier, my olive oil. I'm just going to take this olive oil and pour a little bit in the bowl. Ready? I'm going to count to 2.
Yep.
1, 2. Get it in the bowl. I'm going to swish it around the bowl real quick. So it's got a little bit of a coating. I'm going to take my fingers maybe, wipe it around the bowl. Then I'm going to take my dough, which is pretty good and kneaded. Thanks, girls.
Welcome.
I'm going to put it in the bowl. And then I'm pick it up out of the bowl and plop it back in the bowl again because I want to get that oil all over every side. So when you look at your dough, it should go from like a not shiny dough to a shiny dough. That's how you know it's covered in the oil good. Okay? Then I'm going to take it and I'm going to cover my bowl with my foil again. And I'm just going to leave it in a nice spot to sit for about an hour to an hour and a half. So anywhere from 60 to 90 minutes. I'm going to put my timer on for 60 minutes, which is 1 hour. And then I'm going to check it and see how much the dough has risen. The point of pizza dough is you want it to go from your small ball to a big, giant ball of dough. That way you've got enough to work with. So I'm going to go set it over actually on top of my stove. Because setting things on top of my stove is a good spot to keep things when I haven't used my stove because the stove usually puts off heat. So I'm going to set it here. Have it covered with my plastic wrap, or you can put a towel on it. Sometimes I do that. Or you can cover it in aluminum foil and just let it sit for an hour and a half. And then when I come back later, we'll do another check to see how much the dough's risen. All right, I'll see you in a bit. All right, so I am back, guys. We've let my dough proof for about an hour and a half, and I've had it proofing in the oven to get nice and big. So it went from that little ball to look how big it is now. I'm going to take it out of the oven. I'm going to set it on my table, and then I'm going to go back over and I'm going to preheat my oven because my oven was off the entire time it was proofing. I'm going to preheat my oven to 475 while I work on shaping this dough and getting it ready to put out into pizzas. Alright, so oven is preheating to 475. I'm going to take my dough, I'm going to take my hand, I'm just going to punch it, and that'll let all the air out. Okay. Then, ooh, that was loud, sorry. Take my dough ball, break it into 2 pieces. When we did our dough, it makes enough for 2 pizzas. I already have 2 pizza pans washed. 2 pizza pans. So I'm going to take and spray them with a little spray butter. Adding a little spray butter to your pans helps it to not stick. All right, I'm going to take my dough balls, 1 dough ball, put it in my pan. I'm going to put this so you can see what I'm doing here. There we go. And my other dough ball in my other pan. And I'm just going to take my hands, put a little spray butter on it so the pizza dough doesn't stick to my hands. Trick I've learned. And I'm going to start pushing and pulling it out so the dough goes all the way to the edge of the crust. I'm just going to rotate my pizza pan and pull my dough all the way out until it's on the edge. I want it to go as far out as I can get it. All right, so this one's pretty good. Got it out a little bit to the edge. I'm going to push with my thumbs. Push it all the way around. Get it to go out some more. Make sure it's nice and even. Make sure there's no holes in the dough. If you have any holes in your dough, that's where sauce is going to be seeped through. Okay, there's one. Do the same thing to the second one. If you don't want to make 2 pizzas, you can take this dough and you can freeze it. But follow the instructions for freezing, because if you just put the raw dough in the freezer and aren't following the freezing directions or freezing at the right step, it is not going to come out right when you're ready for it. Oh, I had a little crack in my dough, so I'm right there. So I'm just going to push it together. Pull it back apart. All right. Work it till it gets all nice to the edge. Right. I am currently preheating my oven. It's not quite ready to go in yet, so it gives me a little bit of time to work with this dough and get everything on it and the toppings. I'm working on having some sausage made right now, so I'm going to stop the video. When my sausage is ready to be on, I will come back and I'll make some pizzas, and later on you guys will see the finished product.